Hey everyone, welcome back to our podcast and the series called High School Memories. My name is Erjon and I'll be your host today. Without further ado, let's dive into today's episode and embark on a great journey together. Today's topic will be about teen mental health in high school, where we will be discussing the many factors that play a role in teen mental health and share strategies to help high school students cope with their challenges. In today's podcast, we will cover many segments, one of them being social media and peer pressure. Social media in today's modern age has had quite a significant impact in our lives. But aside from social media, we have another factor that has affected our lives, which is peer pressure. Peer pressure is the process by which members of the same social class influence other members to do things that they may be reluctant to do. This term is usually used in a negative way, symbolizing things in which peers do, for example, drugs or alcohol. Teens are more vulnerable to peer pressure because they are in a stage where they are separating more from their parents and have their own critical thinking of the world and human relations. Many teens are dependent of peer pressure since they want social acceptance, and they are willing to do anything to get accepted in a group or by their peers. For example, even doing drugs or things that they know that aren't good but still do them. Despite the fact that peer pressure is usually associated with bad situations, it can sometimes be beneficial. For example, positive peer pressure. In positive peer pressure, we can take the example of two students. One of them starts going to the gym and starting healthy habits, and the other doesn't. But since his friend does, he takes up the gym and starts doing healthy habits for his own benefit. This can be seen as positive peer pressure, but in the long run, and if done repeatedly, very often, it can cause exercise addiction, where the individual neglects all other tasks and just finds physical activity as a way of coping with his problems. Now we're going to talk about ways to treat peer pressure for us not to have as much weight as it does on our lives. And some of the ways to stop this is by parental influence and emotional intelligence. What do I mean by parental influence is that if a child has a more positive and comforting environment, he will of course be more comfortable with telling his parents everything that is happening. And the parents can also be a role model for emotional self-regulation. Emotional self-regulation is when the individual has the ability to control thoughts, emotions, and urges. This is related to emotional intelligence as stated above, which can also help into the student thinking rationally and to consider why is he doing these negative things and set boundaries. For example, to stay with certain people of high class and not to stay with people that do things that can cause negative effects on their lives. The second segment that we're going to talk about that causes stress on teens is extracurricular activities. Since high school students tend to grow up and during this time they find their goals and purpose in life, they tend to hone the skills in the particular field that they want to develop, and that is made possible by extracurricular activities. These activities help us develop as individuals, but a downside is that it consumes a lot of our time. And when our time is consumed, we don't know which part to juggle, which one to focus on, and that causes quite a lot of stress for us teenagers. Time is money is a well-known quote used by many people, and it expresses the value of time. But is the value of time really that like the money? Many philosophers state that time is our life, hence it has way more value than money. And us teenagers don't know how to juggle these many activities, and that's why we tend to do all of them, but in the end, we still are stressed. In a way, we are wasting our lives in overworking ourselves instead of trying to focus on just one task at a time. In a study, researchers found out that time management makes us way more productive and has a strong impact on life satisfaction. And this is way more important than job satisfaction, since even though you do your job, you're not as productive as you should be when you are happy and have quite a happy lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle. Though there are many books for time management, I don't think that they should be applied in today's modern age, since I think that there should be no shortcuts in any of the tasks that we do. We don't need those. We just need to have a better understanding of what's important to us and which task can we neglect more. So I think that in order to have a nice time management, there need to be sacrifices, and so we can achieve a peaceful mind. Another segment that is related to teen mental health is self-care and coping strategies. As we mentioned before, teenagers are affected by many things that take a toll on their mental health, whether that being peer pressure or stress. For that, there are many coping techniques that us teenagers can do. Firstly, a way that helped me become more aware of the task at hand and helped me in managing my time is developing a morning routine. Although it is neglected and seen as not necessary, a morning routine can help people in many ways. A morning routine can help you be more aware of the task at hand, and you are more organized as an individual. For a morning routine, we can have many ways to develop this, but there is a practice called Eat the Frog, where the question is made like this: if you're gonna have dinner and you're gonna have to eat a frog, will you eat the frog before dinner or after dinner? Many people will say before dinner, and this translates to this morning routine as well, where we do the hard tasks first, and then we can focus on the other tasks at hand and even have time to relax after the task's done. And another way to deal with stress and anxiety is to be aware of our emotions and be able to control them. As mentioned before, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence can be won by meditation. Meditation may seem a bit silly at first by our generation, but it is beneficial for us in many ways, since it's a way to relax our thoughts, our racing thoughts, and be able to organize our emotions and not let them get the best of us. And this is the end of the podcast. And thank you so much for joining us on this episode. It's been an incredible journey, and we're so glad you came along for the ride. Until next time, take care.